Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this annual general meeting of your company. It is with regret that I have to report that the profits of this year have not been as good as last year's. Of course, last year's were record profits. The sales have continued to show an upward trend and were better than the last year's mark. Your directors have recommended to maintain the dividend at 15% on equity share capital. The performance of any company is naturally conditioned by the environment in which it operates. Last year, Indian industry was overtaken by recession and a number of enterprises suddenly found themselves confronted with a fall in demand, rising costs and increase in stocks and eventually were forced to cut down production. Commercial vehicles and tractors, automobile tires and electrical appliances, paper and textile were some of the major industries which came directly under the spell of recession. Major company operations like textile and units in Rajasthan were affected not only recession but also by severe power cuts. We are not the only country which has been invaded by recessionary forces. As a matter of fact, in the last 2 years, almost all the industrialized countries have been facing recession. We have been saved so far partly because our economy is somewhat insulted from such international trends and partly because growth to us is a compelling necessity. There is something wrong somewhere which has disturbed the equilibrium and forced the industry to move backward instead of going forward. I am aware that the present industrial situation cannot be adequately described by a single phenomenon like recession. There are many other factors in operation which have made the problem a little complex. For instance, there have been excessive imports which can be described as dumping following our liberalized import policy and the recession abroad. Power shortage continues in most of the states. Our foreign exchange earnings have not increased and the reserves have come down to an alarming low level. Industrial relations are disturbing and have taken a gigantic form in Bombay. We have to view these trends in the prescriptive of the development set out in the sixth five-year plan. It was hoped that the average rate of growth of industrial production would be little over 8%. I was of the opinion at that time that even this growth was small in comparison with both our needs as also potentialities. However, looking at the trends that have emerged, it appears that even the targets set out by the Planning Commission would be difficult to achieve. Our industrial development in the 50s and 60s was largely guided by import substitution. This strategy has certainly paid dividends. Our industrial base was diversified and a number of new products came to be manufactured. But a program of development which is aimed essentially at self sufficiency often becomes uneconomic when pushed beyond a limit. This is what happened in the past 2 decades. In many sectors of industry, the techniques of production are not modern. The cost of production is high. The quality of goods is poor and the rate of growth is low. These industries find it difficult, in spite of lower wages, to withstand competition from other countries. This realization itself has been the motivation for the government to create facilities for export and to help industry to modernize. Export should not be an obligation. export must pay unless we transform our industry technologically, operate a level of efficiency compared to that in other countries, put up enterprises of a size which help reduce cost. We may not be able to make any dent in the international market in spite of the tremendous advantages we possess in terms of our vast natural resources and equally large manpower. But it is not easy to keep modern technology updated. In fact, most industries find it difficult even to replace assets because replacement cost is far above the historical cost, which forms the basis of depreciation allowance. Exposed to high rate of corporation taxation, there are no surpluses either which can be used to supplement depreciation reserve. It is necessary that the government consider this problem created by rise in equipment prices and devise a system of inflation accounting in the sphere of depreciation. The revival of the economy to which I have addressed myself may create apprehension in the minds of those who have been excessively concerned with the rise of prices. We have undoubtedly succeeded in holding the price line. It is not a matter of surprise that, in spite of the shortfall in Kharif output, prices have dropped since August. This, in my view, is an indication of how strong reversal measures the government should take. Before I close, I would like to thank all our workers and staff for the hard work and devotion to duty they have evinced and which has helped our company perform better in spite of the uncongenial industrial environment. Dear sirs, we thank you for your letter of the second instant enclosing a check for rupees 30,000 in full settlement of our three outstanding bills. In this connection, we have great pleasure to inform you that we are having a clearance sale of our toilet articles as it is necessary for us to dispose of some of our stocks as early as possible. We are sending here with a copy of our latest catalog as well as a few pamphlets which we think you will like to have. Our catalog describes the different items fully. You will please note that each item has been given a separate code number in order to enable you to make a selection. We are also sending per passenger train a few samples of the different toilet items that we can offer. In view of the fact that this is our last clearance sale, we are giving a special discount on this occasion. We hope you will take advantage of this special offer and favor us with your valuable order, which will receive our prompt attention. We have also to inform you that during the next month, we propose to increase the prices of a number of items at present included in our catalog. The increases have become necessary in view of the higher costs that we now have to incur in the purchase locally of some of our raw materials which used to come formerly from the United States of America. In spite of our best efforts, we could not get the local materials at a cheaper rate. In the circumstances, we have no alternative but to increase our prices. We extremely regret that we are forced to pass on the higher charges to our customers, but at the present time, this is the only course which we can follow. As you are one of our most important dealers, we think we should not take you by surprise by revising our rates without notice. We think that you will be well advised to place an order immediately for some of the items which are likely to become costlier from next month. Yours faithfully.